Recording, great. Okay, cool. All right, it's good to see you all. Happy Thursday. I see a couple new faces, so I'm just going to give kind of just a short intro. So this is the mindful movement class. We work on, okay, yeah, sounds good. We work on joint mobility, spinal mobility, and then we play some games for the visual and the vestibular system, which is your inner ear unit. So I encourage folks, especially once we start to get into some of the visual and vestibular work, to move at your own pace. Remember, it's okay to get dizzy, nauseous, itchy eyes, watery eyes, any of those kinds of sensations, but that also means that you've met your edge. So we don't want to go too far past that. So once you've experienced any of those, take a break. You can always close your eyes or grab some water. Equipment you're going to need today, same that we've been using. So a letter ball of some sort. So it could be I'm holding up a kind of a big inflatable ball, but it could also be a tennis ball with Sharpie letter or numbers on it. If you don't have that, you could always use a rolled up pair of socks, preferably something with an interesting pattern for your eyes to look at, or even a rag of some sort, but again, something that's interesting for your eyes to look at. And then the only other equipment you're going to need are 2 pencils. If that's hard to hold, you can grab 2 cooking utensils, or you can even use your 2 thumbs. Alrighty, so we'll get started. So I'm just going to have you come back to a seated or standing grounding position of some sort. I'm just starting with a body scan here. So we'll close the eyes. And we're just going to start with a little wiggle of the body. So you can either roll your shoulders, you can roll your neck, you can wiggle your rib cage around, just settling into the body, noticing what parts feel creaky, what parts of you feel good today, and what parts of you today feel a little quiet, like you can't sense them. We'll still the body. And just coming into your breath, feel free to put both hands over the low belly. Taking an inhale, the belly pushes into your hands. And I want you to try to take a longer exhale today. Let all of the air out of the belly. And then inhale. So just making that exhale longer than the inhale. You don't have to count or anything like that, but I want you to try to stay with nasal breathing. So just breathing in and out of your nose, if that's accessible for you. Making that exhale longer than the inhale. You're just going to take a few more breaths like that. Feeling a part of your body that somehow is connected to either the chair or the floor. And then go ahead and set your intention for class today. Let's take one more inhale. One more exhale. And we'll open the eyes. Awesome. All right. Let's shake the hands and the arms out. I want you to do that kind of aggressive shake, like you've got water all over your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists that you're trying to get off. If you're standing, you can give a big shake to the legs and the feet and the hips too. And I want you to let your lips go. Make that horse sound. Okay. Coming back to the center, we'll take both fingertips or your knuckles and finding that gentle tapping of that area just under your collarbones. And I want you to try to stay with nasal breathing. Kind of slowing your breath down, noticing how that area is feeling. And then you're going to take those gentle taps and you're going to go down the sides of your rib cage. Again, using the pads of your fingers or your knuckles, whatever feels good. Keeping that breath nice and slow. And then you're going to come to your low back, keeping this gentle here. This is where your kidneys are. But just putting a little bit of vibration and movement and energy into this area. Okay, good. We'll come to the upper body, tapping here. So pick a shoulder, any shoulder. You're going to tap going down the outside of the arm. And then up the inside of the arm from your palm up to your chest. I want you to do that a few times on each side, going down the outside and up the inside. And maybe tapping doesn't feel really good for you. Maybe you kind of like more of a stroking sensation, or maybe you like more of a rubbing sensation. So do whatever one feels good for you. When you've done that a few times through, we'll switch over to the other side. Tapping down the outside and up the inside. Stay with your breath. Tap into that body that's connected to your chair or connected to the floor. Maybe it's your sit bones, your feet, your back. Good, and then we're gonna come back to the first arm and we're gonna give a little bit more love to the joints. So I'm gonna come into the camera here. So either grabbing one of your wrists or using your knuckles, I want you to twist the wrists back and forth. Again, this is gentle, you're not digging in too much. And if you're using your knuckles, you're just using your knuckles, getting the whole inside, outside, top and bottom part of the wrist. And then bringing that out to the hands, finding that bottle cap twist of each finger 5 or 6 times, back and forth, and then working your way down. If using your knuckles is easier, you can always do the same thing, kind of rubbing. I want you to especially rub the very tips of your fingers. That's where we have a lot of our meridians beginning and ending. So just focusing on that point if you're rubbing with your knuckles. When you've done that hand, we'll go to the other side, starting with the wrist, giving a twist or a rub. And then moving out to the fingers, bottle cap twisting or rubbing. I'm noticing people are freezing, so I'm hoping that my internet connection is not about to crap out on me. All right, working your down all the way through those fingers, and then we're gonna come to the elbows. So any elbow, and just finding that same kind of light twisting. And this time I want you to go above the elbow. You might notice there's some tender places in there, rubbing or twisting. And then I want you to go below the elbow and noticing that there also might be some tender places in here, especially if you're on a computer or in front of a screen for a good chunk of your day. And then I want you to come to the shoulder and I just want you to rub the top of that shoulder, just feeling for the bony parts and just giving that area a little bit of love. Getting in front of the armpit. This can be a shortened and overused area for us also. And then we'll switch sides. Coming to the elbow, twisting above the elbow. Ooh, that side is tender. And then below the elbow. And then coming up to the shoulder and rubbing around the bony parts of that shoulder. Rubbing the front of the armpit, Yeah. All right, working our way down. So let's come to the tops of the hips. So using your hands or your knuckles, you're gonna trace coming from the back of your hips all the way to the front of your hips. So just tracing the outline of the bone there. We also have a lot of muscle attachments that attach here. Breathing into that. Oh dear, now everybody's frozen. Okay, I'm hoping you all are still with me here. And then we're gonna come to the knees, if you can safely reach the knees. And you're just gonna do kind of the same thing. You're gonna rub above the knee, right above the knee. And if you can reach below the knee, you're just gonna find the same kind of twisting motion right below the knee, around the shin and around the calf. All right, and then we'll find some of our leg tapping, working our way down the outsides of the legs. I like to use a little bit more pressure when I'm tapping through the legs. It just feels good to me, but do whatever makes sense for you. So working down the outsides and then coming up the insides. Let's do that one more time. Okay, working our way down into the feet. So if you're able to safely and accessibly touch your foot, I'm gonna have you grab your foot, just starting with pushing the toes forward and back. If it's hard for you to access your foot, you're just gonna find a lower leg rub coming up from the ankles towards the knee. I'm using my knuckles here. You could use an open hand or whatever feels comfortable for you. And I'm pushing up towards the knee, just getting some of that stagnant fluid out. And if reaching the lower leg is kind of challenging, you're going to be doing the same thing on the upper leg, moving from the knee to the hip. So you're either on the foot, the lower leg, or the thigh. Yeah, and you all froze for a second just a couple minutes ago, so I'm sorry if I lost you there. We were just doing body tapping, so if you were still body tapping, you were doing you had it. Okay, so bending the toes back and forth, you can give the toes a couple twists, just like we did with the fingers. Spreading the toes out. And then we'll switch sides. Starting either with the toe bend forward and back, and then twisting the toes and opening and splaying the toes from pinky to big toe, or working from the ankle to the knee, or working from the knee to the hip. You don't need too much pressure in these areas. These areas can usually be quite sensitive, whether or not you have full sensation. Okay, given just a few more rubs there. And then go ahead and relax. Great. Okay, let's play a little bit more with the joints in the spine here. So starting with just a few shoulder shrugs. And as we do these shoulder shrugs, I just want you to slightly turn your head from left to right. Just noticing how that affects some of the shoulder rolls. And then I want you to look up. And then I want you to look down. Tuck your chin into your chest. Stay looking down. Do 2 more rolls. And last one. Good. And then coming to the center. We're going to bring both arms up towards the ceiling, interlacing the fingers if you can. Palms press up. Really reaching as high as you can. Let the rib cage shrug up. And then keep your hands up there and just unshrug the shoulders. Shrug the shoulders up and unshrug. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of come into the camera here. Shrug up and unshrug. Yep. Hands can either be together or apart. It doesn't really matter. Bring the breath into this. Inhale to shrug up and exhale to unshrug. Inhale up and exhale, unshrug. Do one more. Up and down. And then open the arms out into a T, palms facing forward, pulling the chest forward, pinching the shoulder blades together. And I want you to give yourself a big hug, trying to reach your shoulder blades behind you. How far back can your fingers go? Really giving yourself a big hug. Pushing your low back either into the chair behind you or into your hands. And then open. Pulling the wrists and the hands back behind you. Unshrug your shoulders, chest comes forward. Switch the direction your arms are crossed. Try to reach the fingers back and give yourself a hug, rounding the upper back. Good. Inhale to open the arms, pulling the chest forward. Exhale, give yourself a hug and round. Inhale, open. And exhale, hug and round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale, open. And exhale, round. Okay, good. You're gonna cross the arms in front of the chest. And I want you seated nice and tall. You're gonna start just to rotate towards your left here. And I just want you to hold that. Turning your head, your neck, and your eyes as far to the left as you can. And then come back to the center. Body rotates right, head and neck rotates right, eyes follow. And then back to the center. Yep. Rotate left, everything rotates. And center, and rotate right. Rotate left. And rotate right. Okay, I'm gonna layer on with this. I want you to push your tongue, so lips are closed if you can. Push your tongue into the left side of your cheek. Like you're trying to poke a hole through your cheek with your tongue. And then turn to the left. Keep that tongue pushing into the side of the cheek. And then back to the center. Tongue into the right side and rotate right. Tongue left, rotate left. Tongue right, rotate right. Rotate left with the tongue. Rotate right with the tongue. Rotate left, one more each side. Rotate right. Come back to the center. Push your tongue into your upper lip. And then lift the chest up, look up at the sky. Push your tongue down into your lower lip. Tuck your chin into your neck and round your back down, just about halfway down. You don't have to go into a full roll down. Tongue into the upper lip and lift. Tongue into the lower lip and curl. Upper lip and lift. Lower lip and curl. I'm going to bring breath into this. Upper lip and lift, inhale. Lower lip and curl, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. Keep going with the tongue. Inhale, lift. Can we go a little quicker? Exhale, curl. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. There we go. One more each way. Inhale, lift. And exhale, curl. Awesome. Go ahead and shake the arms out, shake the chest out. Okay, coming a little bit more to the head and neck, and then we're gonna keep moving. I want you to bring fingernails, fingertips, or knuckles to the skull, giving yourself that really nice, amazing head scratch all the way up and over, getting the hairline. Maybe giving an extra little bit of time to those tender spots if you have any. Yep, and then go ahead and release that. Just notice if anything feels different. I'm gonna have you then place your hands over your ears like you're cupping your ears. Yeah, and you're gonna hold that and you're gonna move just your eyes from left to right. So maybe looking at something on the wall or a window and just moving your eyes left to right. For those that are blind or visually impaired, you can just hold this here, but I want your head to be stable still. Just finding that breath into your lower belly. Yeah, I'm just watching some of you. Again, these are all just ways to help calm the nervous system. Okay, and relax. Yeah, grab your earlobes, pulling back and down, just a slight pull. You stop pulling when the skin tells you to. You can use your knuckles to do this too. And then grabbing the tops of your ears and pulling up and back behind you. That's it. And then grabbing your whole ear and just do a few circles with that ear. Yep, and then switching directions. Awesome. Okay, moving down the arms, coming into shoulders and elbows. So I'm gonna have you make a goalpost with your arms. You're gonna turn one arm down. So your arms are kind of making the letter Z. So one arm is up, one arm is down, and then I want you to switch and switch and switch. Yeah, and just going back and forth, allowing this movement to just stay in the shoulder and the elbows for right now. And then I want you to start to let that movement move a little bit more into your spine. So you're going to notice this kind of natural inclination to add a side bend towards the arm that's pointing up towards the sky. So it alternates, side bending with one side bending towards the other side. Okay, we're going to add some head neck into this. So now I want you to side bend and look at the hand that's lifted. So turn and point your nose at that hand and then switch and switch and switch and switch. And just going back and forth, moving the spine, moving the shoulders, moving the head. I'm sorry, I always forget to give other modifications for my standing athletes. I'll give you one in just a second. Do two more. Good, and then back to the center, shake everything out. Okay, joints should hopefully be feeling pretty good. Let's do a few wrist circles. For my standing athletes, you could be doing ankle circles, either seated or standing. Really trying to draw a full circle with either your wrist or your hand. Switch directions and or switch feet. Yeah. Feeling like my internet connection is bad. Hey, Sarah Dawn, are you there by any chance?
Yeah.
Hey, is my
It is. It's a little bit lagging, but maybe it could be me as well. I plugged in to make sure that helps a little bit. Sometimes when you actually plug into the wall outlet, I don't know why. So.
Okay. I'm just gonna check my Wi-Fi connection. Just give me 1 second. And everybody, I just want you to come into a nice backstroke. So find a backstroke as I check my Wi-Fi. Hey, do you have a lot of things open right now? My Wi-Fi connection is like great. No, it's working. I'm gonna try this. It's okay, it's all right. I think that will, hopefully. Okay. Yeah. Okay, hopefully No, that didn't do it. People are still freezing. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. Is for more. Oh, okay. So this is different for some people. Okay, I'm sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what's going on today. I'm just going to keep going. Just kind of try to stay with me to the best of your ability, and hopefully it gets a little bit better. Okay, go ahead and relax with the backstroke. Give one more shake to the upper body, one more shake to the lower body. Alrighty. I'm going to have you grab your letter ball or your socks of some sort, ball-shaped object. Okay, so for those of you that have been playing letter ball with me for a while, I'm just going to have you go right into playing letter ball. Remember, when you're moving or throwing that ball around your body, I really want you to try to hit every angle all around you. Okay, so sometimes folks will miss these angles up above the head, so just trying to make sure you get those. Oh, for those of you just joining today, I'm just going to walk you through this. So holding that ball into your chest, you're going to pull it away from your chest at any angle you want to. Look at the ball, read the first letter or number that you see. So I see a 16 and I pull it back into my chest. I pull it away from my chest at a new angle. I read the first letter or number that I see, and then I pull it back in. And I'm just going to continue on with that, moving the ball around my body. We're warming up the eyes. You can throw, you can catch, you can bounce it off of the floor, you can bounce it off of a wall, you can play with a partner. Maybe spinning the ball as you throw it around you to make it a little bit more challenging for your eyes to track a number. But just making sure that you hit all of those angles around you and your eyes try to land on a letter as quickly as possible. So we're also working a little bit on hand-eye coordination. Audio is good. Okay, that's good. If nothing else, you can hear me. So that's always a plus. Okay, I'm going to start to bring some brain speed games into this. Okay, so let me make sure I'm saying this right. When you catch a W, I'm sorry, not a W. When you catch a letter, I'm going to have you look up. So tilt your head and look up at the ceiling. When you catch a number, I'm going to have you look down. Letter, look up. Just a quick look up, and number, look down. Okay, so whatever you see, you do the movement and then you continue on. So just adding a neck movement before throwing on to your next one. Yeah, I'm just going to watch people here. Yeah, and if you're able to throw it around you, make it hard for yourself. Yeah, and if you're not using a letter ball, I love the modifications in here. If you're not using a letter ball, just making sure that your eyes are pinpointing to a specific point. So whether that's a helmet, I love it, Leo, or a rag, yeah, like Julie. So just making sure your eyes are pinpointing on a specific part of the ball each time you move it around you. And then you're adding that head movement there. Okay, I'm gonna layer on again. You could take it or leave it. If this is already kind of a lot for you, just stay exactly with what you're doing. So I have you letter, you look up, number, you look down. Okay, I'm gonna add on. For letter, you look up, and then you're gonna lift your right side of the body. It could be a shoulder shrug, it could be an arm raise, or it could be a knee lift. For a number, you're still looking down and you're gonna lift the left side of your body. Sorry, I didn't mirror you on there, but stay with what I'm saying. So letter, you look up and you lift the right side of your body. Number, you look down and you lift the left side of your body. Okay, so keep playing. I want you to do both movements with the head and with the body. Yeah, that's a good question. Someone asked, should I take my glasses off for this part? No, you can leave the glasses on because this isn't, yeah, that's a great question though. I'll have you take your glasses off for something else that we're gonna do. Okay, I want you to do about 10 or so more throws or movements. And noticing it's okay if the if the speed that you're playing slows down, because you kind of have to think about this one a little bit more. When you've done those 10 or so throws, just let me know by setting the ball down and just taking a roll all the way down to the ground. So no rush, but just finding a roll down. After you've done those 10 throws. Yeah. Okay, great, awesome. Okay, go ahead and come back up to a seated position. Let's just do a body check in here. We're gonna do this in the beginning of class, but that's okay, we'll do this now. So let's just start with an overhead arm raise. And you're just noticing how this is feeling for you. Noticing speed of movement, ease of movement, range of motion. And then coming into goalpost arms, finding your internal and external rotation. How is that feeling for you right now? How has it felt for you in the past? Yep, good. Bringing the hands together, palms are touching or crossed over the chest, if that makes more sense for you. Finding a rotation to your left and a rotation to your right. And you're just noticing the same things. How's your range here? How easy or hard is it for you to breathe in that rotated position? Does it feel easier or harder than when we were doing this warm-up in the beginning of class? Okay, good. Back to the center. Let's do some neck movements. So just finding a head tilt to the left and a head tilt to the right. Just going back and forth, noticing how that's feeling today. Coming back to the center and then finding a rotation. So turning just the head and the neck left, just the head and the neck right. How far do you get? Which side is easier for you to turn to? And how does this feel comparatively to other days? If you're a standing athlete, feel free to do a few squats or sit to stands. You could do a single leg balance and just see how that is feeling. Or you could do your double leg hip hinge, flat back to lean forward. Okay. I'm gonna have you grab your 2 pencils or cooking utensils of some sort. Okay, we're gonna run through this kind of quick here. For folks who are blind or visually impaired, I'm gonna give you a slightly different thing to do, so bear with me for a sec. So if you're holding the 2 pencils, you're gonna hold them maybe just a couple feet apart or so. Let me back up a little bit. Okay, so one is up, one is down. Yeah, if it's hard for you to hold these pencils, remember you could also just use something on the ceiling and something on the floor. Okay, so it's up to you there. Holding between those 2 pencils, you're gonna jump without moving your head, jumping your eyes from top to bottom. And you're gonna do that 20 to 30 times. So up and down is 1, up and down is 2, up and down is 3. You're gonna do up and down. You're gonna do pencils side to side, pencils on one diagonal, pencils on the other diagonal. Doing 20 reps in all of those directions, up, down, side to side, and then each diagonal. Okay, so I want you to work through that. Just watching people here. Okay, for folks who are blind or visually impaired, I'm just going to give you something slightly different. We're going to do more of a typical VOR. So this is more for the vestibular system. So if it helps for you to hold the thumb out in front of you to kind of have like a proprioceptive target, you can do that. Otherwise, you don't have to hold your thumb out. And you're just going to start by shaking the head quickly from left to right. You're basically going to do exactly what I just described, but you're going to be doing this with head movements instead of eye movements. So the head quickly moves left to right. If you have some eyesight and you're able to keep your eyes forward on your thumb, I want you to keep your eyes forward as you shake your head in all of these directions. Okay, so you're doing the same thing. You're going to do 20 to 30 shakes left, right, 20 to 30 shakes up, down, 20 to 30 on one diagonal, 20 to 30 on the other diagonal. Okay, so whichever variation of, keep working through. Yeah, I see some people are moving through that. If you get to the end, I just want to give people a little bit more time. So if you get to the end there, I want you to pick the direction that was hardest for you, and I want you to do that direction again. For example, my eyes don't really like to go up, so I would do the up and down for maybe a second set. I'm just going to give folks about a minute more. I see some head shaking and I see some pencil moving. Glasses can still be on for this one. Making sure the head stays really steady, no movement in the head. For those who are using the pencil method. Otherwise, you're definitely moving your head. Yeah. Okay. If there is any dizziness, nausea, tired eyes, red eyes, watery eyes, take a break. I think most people are done now. So let's all just take, just gonna put the pencils down for a second. Let's just take a nice roll down. I'm gonna have you close your eyes if they're not closed already. And just take a heavy roll down, excuse me, down to the floor. Just find your breath at the bottom. Try to breathe into the back of your ribs. Take one more breath there. And then very slowly peel yourself back up. You're going to take arms up over the head. So arms are framing the head. Arms can also cross the chest if that's easier for you. And you're going to dive off to the left side of your body. I want you to hold that there. Let your right arm go straight. So I want you to pull your right elbow. And then I want you to pull yourself back up to a seated position. We're just really giving some extra length to that side. Okay, grab both elbows again. Dive off to the right. And if you're standing, you're just doing a standing roll down off to your right. Pause at the bottom. Grab your left elbow. Let the left arm go straight. Breathe into those open ribs. And then slowly pull yourself back up. Yeah, grabbing both elbows, lifting the chest and everything forward. And then bringing the hands behind you. If you're able to, interlacing the fingers and tractioning, pulling that chest forward. Okay, good. Give one more little shake. I'm going to have you grab one of your pencils again. We're going to do some quick pencil push-ups. So now I'm going to have you take off your glasses. So holding that pencil out in front of you. Okay, so at arm's distance length. If you know what you're doing, go ahead and go right into it. If you're new, I'm just going to explain this. So looking at the tip of the pencil, you're slowly going to pull that pencil in towards that spot right between your eyes. The second that you start to see two pencils, you're going to start to pull it away from your face again. Pulling it into your face once you start to see two pencils, pull it away from your face. It's okay if the pencil goes blurry. It's going to go a little bit blurry. And if you can pull that pencil all the way into your nose without, and only see one pencil, then I'm just going to give you an added challenge. You're just going to start to move the head around as you do these pencil push-ups. So the background behind you is moving as your eyes continue with the pencil push-ups. For standing athletes, I encourage you to do this standing. If you want a balance challenge, you can either bring your feet all the way together, or you can walk the tightrope with one foot in front of the other. Or if you're feeling really brave, you can balance on one leg as you do the pencil push-up. Okay, so up to you what version you want to do. Just making sure that this is a challenge to either your eyes or your body in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, do maybe 5 or so more. Okay, good. And then you're going to bring that pencil out in front of you. We're going to have everybody doing the VOR again. So for folks who are blind or visually impaired, I'm going to give you something else. So just stay with me for a sec. Everyone else is going to look at the tip of the pencil. Your eyes are going to stay locked on that tip. You're going to shake your head from left to right, only going as quickly as you can, where that pencil still stays in full focus in front of you. This is specifically working your vestibular system. So if you get dizzy or nauseous, just go ahead and take a break. You're going to do the same thing that I was giving the others earlier, just a few minutes ago. So you're going to do about 20 or so shakes side to side, 20 or so shakes up and down, 20 or so shakes with your head going in one diagonal, 20 or so shakes with your head going in the other diagonal. When you're doing the head diagonal, I want you to think like your head is doing the disco. Okay, so you're tilting your head up to one side and down to the other side. For folks who are blind or visually impaired, we're going to bring this more into a body spin. So if you're standing, you can just bring this into a full standing spin. That makes me dizzy every time. If you're seated, hands are going to be crossed over the chest, and moving more from your neck and from your upper body, kind of twirling the head, neck, and the ribs in a circle kind of around the pelvis, as if you were doing like a really exaggerated hula hoop. Doing maybe 6 to 12 circles in one way, 6 to 12 circles in the other direction. Okay, so VOR people, when you're done with that, yeah, I'm just watching. That's good. It looks like we still have people going. Yeah, so keep moving through it your own. Yes, thank you. What about, I know I always do this. For folks with a fused neck, for the VOR, I'm going to have you cheat a little bit. So you're going to be moving more from the ribs, but I want you to counter the pencil. So I don't know if you can see me here, but as I turn, instead of holding the pencil steady, I'm kind of countering the pencil so that my eyes still have to stay locked on the pencil, but my neck, oops, sorry, I just hit the mic, but my neck is staying really steady with my spine. And I'm just kind of cheating by moving the pencil just slightly back and forth. Those are for folks who have a fused neck or who have hardware in their neck, because it's hard for them to do some of these neck movements. Yeah, okay. Go ahead and wrap that up, maybe doing your last 3 to 5. Lots of variations. I love the questions. It's always good to give different variations of doing these kinds of movements. Okay, we're going to cross the arms over the chest again. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I just want you to find kind of a gentle twist with your ribs side to side. coming into your breath again. Just a small movement here. And then go ahead and open eyes. Hands will come down to the lap. And just starting to find a lean, a weight shift from one sit bone to the next. If you're standing, you can do this shifting from foot to foot. If you can even find a balancing foot, then go for it. Otherwise, just shifting side to side, seeing if you can even start to lift up that opposite sit bone, like you just sat in gum under one butt cheek, and then sat in gum under the other butt cheek. Which is never fun. Okay, so just kind of finding that sway side to side. Good, we'll come back to the center. Straight arms out in front of you, palms touching. Go ahead and open that left arm, rotating, reaching that arm back behind you. And then back to the center. And then right arm reaching back behind you. And center. Rotate and reach. And rotate and reach. Good. Back to the center, arms come up overhead. Take one last dive, roll down forward. Try to find as much spinal articulation here as you can. I want you to pause at the bottom again. Find your breath into the back. And on your next exhale, roll yourself back up, arms reaching up towards the sky. Good, take one more inhale and exhale, hands come down. Okay, we'll close the eyes. Just coming back into your body, feeling that part of your body that is still grounded and connected to the floor somehow. Whether that's down through your feet, out through your sit bones, or out through your back. Noticing what parts of your body maybe feel a little different than the beginning of class. Do any parts feel more woken up to you? Or just different in some way? Thinking of one thing you're grateful for today. We'll take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Good to see you.
Yeah, of course, of course. Just a couple of announcements. So I'm teaching my another workshop tonight through NorCal SCI. The topic is strong neck, strong core. So it's all about head neck control and how we can strengthen and mobilize the neck, and then how we can connect that down into our core. This is suitable for people with spinal cord injuries that have hardware. I'm going to give you some safe ways to strengthen the neck through that. This is accessible for people without hardware, for people with any kinds of disabilities, neck issues, if you've gotten concussions in the past and something feels a little off. So yeah, this is all of these workshops that I teach. They're geared for folks with spinal cord injuries and other disabilities. However, these are all movements that I use in my practice. I use with my clients of all abilities. So it's super accessible. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link below just before I forget. And then, sorry, as always, I forgot my thank you. A big thank you to Move United for continuing to sponsor these classes. And I think that's it. Let me grab this link before I lose it here. I'll take any questions after class Just give me one sec, because multitasking while doing tech is not my strong suit. Yeah, and I'm sorry for the internet connection today. I'm hoping that even if you couldn't see me, you could still hear me, so you kind of knew what we were doing. I usually have a good internet connection, so that was kind of funky. Okay, come on. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that into the chat box. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the link to register is in the chat box. Just make sure that you, even if you can't come live, make sure you sign up, because the recording will be sent to you. Just want to make sure I sent you all the right link. Yes, okay, great. And not some random Zoom link. Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. Awesome. Okay, great, cool. I won't keep you all. Thank you so much for coming. Happy Thursday. I will either see you tonight. The workshop is at 5 p.m. tonight, Pacific time. Make sure you register if you can't come live, and otherwise I will see you next week.
See you. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thanks,
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, of course.